Welcome to INCRadio. 6 sa 7 kontinente, mahigit sa 100 bansa at teritoryo, iba't ibang kultura at lengguwahe, nagkakaisa at nananatiling solido. Ito ang INC Radio.
Sa lahat ng mga tao, this is INCRadio. Anywhere in the world, oh, we're always together, connected to everyone. Life will be better. Tayo na, sama-sama halina sa INCRadio International na. Ito palaging konektado ka sa INCRadio na.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of our viewers and listeners tuning in with us here on INC Radio Texas Satellite Studio. Tonight, I'm your host, Brother Justin Talioga, tuning in here from Austin, Texas. And here in Austin, Texas, it is currently 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It's currently February 21st here in Austin, Texas. And once again, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners, wherever and whenever you may be tuning in from. First up, but before we move forward, let's go ahead and meet some of our hosts and panelists who are with us. We're going to stay local here first, but we're going to have Sister Jamie. Sister Jamie, how are you tonight?
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for spending your Friday evening with us here at INC Radio Texas. I'm doing well this evening, trying to keep warm because it is currently 33 degrees Fahrenheit. And for those of you who are in Celsius, that is 1 degree. So yeah, try to keep warm, and we have a fantastic show this evening, and we're joined by some wonderful panelists this evening. Sister Abby, how are you doing this evening?
Hi, Sister Jamie. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Hello to all of our viewers. My name is Sister Abby, and I'm from the locale of San Antonio. And I also see that we have Sister Rose here. Hi, Sister Rose.
Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Sister Rose. I am from the locale of San Antonio, Texas as well, where I am actually a secretary and CWS teacher officer. And we also do have Sister Angel here with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sister Angel, and I'm also from the local of San Antonio, and I'm also a secretary. So nice to meet everyone tonight.
Oh, we forgot to mention that it's a locale takeover this evening, right, Brother Justin?
Yes, of course. I'm seeing a lot of San Antonio people, not just here on our call, but also in our live YouTube chat. I have Christine Powinski, who's tuning in from San Antonio, Texas. I have Liet Alvarez, who's tuning in from San Antonio, Texas as well. And I see San Antonio's very own resident minister, Brother Damon Domini, who's tuning in with us. And of course, our very own Brother Will Sansoms, who's tuning in from the Alamos, from San Antonio as well. So if you're tuning in from San Antonio, please go ahead and make some noise in our live YouTube chat. So thank you so much to everyone who is tuning in with us. And of course, we do have our topic for tonight, which is de-stress or refresh. Because as we all know, stress is a part of everyday life, whether it be school, work, or maybe something from our own personal lives. So we want to ask all of our viewers and listeners, what are some things you regularly do that help you de-stress and refresh? And that's actually our question of the night. So, to our viewers and listeners, please go ahead and answer our question of the night in our live YouTube chat, and we'll be sure to read them at to read your answers at some point during our show. So, as we dive into our topic discussion, I want to open this question to everyone here on the panel first. So, what does your ideal de-stressing environment look like?
That is a
I
very good question. Go ahead, Sister Rose.
sorry. For me, I personally like to be left alone, kind of. And usually I just kind of lock myself in my room and just stare at the wall or ceiling just to kind of get my mind straight. But usually it's just me I like to be in a quiet place basically. So that's typically the environment I like to be in when I want to de-stress.
Okay, okay. So you're someone that likes to that likes to value their alone time a little bit, and then just enjoy the silence. Okay, I like that. How about you, Sister Angel? What's your ideal de-stressing environment look like?
So I'm actually a little bit of the opposite. I like to go out, especially I like to go eat. Uh, Weekends are usually I live in the dorm, so I'm stuck with dining hall food. So usually
Oh,
the
so
weekend,
okay, so you're someone with cabin fever is what I'm getting.
yes. So during the weekends, usually go out, try different food places here in San Antonio.
Okay, all right, okay. So it sounds like you're new from San Antonio. Are you from a different city in Texas, or someplace outside of Texas, or
Yes, so I'm actually from California. I'm here in San Antonio to finish off my university, and I'm actually on my last semester. So
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations, Sister Jamie. Looks like we have another a West Coast representative here on our here on our call.
Yes, that's right. We're representing.
All right. Okay. And before we go to the next part of our program, Sister Abby, what about you? What does your ideal de-stressing environment look like?
For me, since I'm still in high school, I'm kind of similar to Sister Rose. I like spending time with myself since I feel like the outside world kind of tends to overwhelm me sometimes. I also like focusing on my hobbies a lot. Like I like to read. Lately, I've been into coloring. Like I bought a
Coloring.
bunch of coloring books, and
Okay. 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 I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you said you like to color. Are you someone? Please tell me you're someone that likes to color within the lines.
oh, of course, that is how I de-stress. Yes, that's like the most satisfying part of it.
Or maybe you de-stress because you want to put all your emotions you want to put all your emotions into that crayon, so you just scribble scrabble.
Yeah, that's more of like the abstract way to color.
Yeah, I feel like coloring is a pretty popular way when it comes to de-stressing, or at least like keeping your mind busy. But thank you so much to our panelists here who have shared your ideal de-stressing environments. And since we are talking about de-stressing, this might be something that might be a little bit new to us. So let's go ahead and look at some fun facts when it comes to stressing out. So we do have some questions here, maybe, and for our viewers and listeners, maybe you all can weigh in on this. So we want to ask everyone here, and this is something that we can learn also. According to the American Institute of Stress, what percentage of adults report experiencing significant stress in their daily lives? Is it A, 33%, B, 50%, C, 75%, or D, 90%? Okay, that 90% actually looks a little scary, but yeah, let's go ahead and see if some of our viewers and listeners know. And maybe we can also hear this from our panelists as well. Which one do you think it is? Sister Abby, Sister Angel, what do you think it is?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people get stressed out.
Right? That's what I'm also thinking. Oh, it's so bad. I'm thinking of a high percentage.
Well, looks like we have some of our viewers and listeners are saying 75%, or maybe either that, or maybe they're just going with the testing tactics and just choosing a C as a default answer. But I believe the answer is actually 33%. 33% of adults experiencing significant stress.
I'm actually quite surprised. But my initial thought was B or C. I don't know about anyone else, but
I was thinking D.
D.
If it was D, that'd be a little concerning. And of course,
Yeah, I know, right? I think especially
if it was 90%, that'd be a little concerning.
I think it's
maybe if you live in a very like an urban type situation where it's always like a daily grind, I imagine.
So like
If
the
you
city
probably-
life.
Yeah, like if you probably polled, say like New Yorkers, they're probably gonna pick, D, but that's interesting. 33%. Okay.
Okay, what about this one? So, which demographic group is generally reported to experience higher levels of stress based on recent research?
I say A.
I agree. I think a lot of younger people.
A, okay. All right, okay. I wonder if some of our viewers and listeners are also tuning in with us. Oh, it looks like we have our very own Sister Flo Guillermo tuning in from the Oregon satellite studio. Hello, Sister Flo. And who else is tuning in our live YouTube chat? We also have our very own CFO overseer, Brother Matt Carl Talons, who says, I listen to soothing music to de-stress. It may not always be healthy, but another way is by eating, of course. I think the term for that would be stress eating. And let's see who else is tuning in with us. Oh, looks like he also answered our question here, and he thinks the answer is A. It looks like quite a bit of our viewers and listeners are saying the answer is A. And you know what? They are actually correct. The answer is A. Young adults 18 to 34, and this research was actually taken from the American Psychological Association. Okay, and I think we have one more question. Okay. What percentage of adults report experiencing sleep disturbances due to stress, according to a recent study by, of course, the American Psychological Association? Is it 10, 25, 43, or 75?
I want to say 43. C.
43, okay, 43.
I need a lifeline out there for those of you tuning in. Throw me a lifeline and
Well,
ask me
I
this.
don't know if I can do 50-50 on this. Well, actually, I can, but I don't want to. Okay, and let's see if our viewers and listeners are guessing. Okay, we have one of our viewers and listeners who are answering A, 10%. Okay, I can see that. Some are answering B, 25%. Okay, 1/4 of adults. Okay. Okay, some are saying 43%. Okay, looks like we got some viewers and listeners who are answering a little bit of everything. Okay, let's see who else. While we're waiting, before we move forward, let's go ahead and see who else is tuning in to our live YouTube chat. We have Mercy Carnes who's tuning in from Universal City, and she says, "Oh wow, one of the ways they de-stress. I think this is from a brother Tom Carnes, is by scuba diving. Wow, that's a very interesting way of de-stressing. You just wake up one morning and like, "Oh, I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go dive underwater." And okay, looks like we have some of our viewers and listeners who are also answering C. So let's go ahead and see what the right answer is. And oh wow, look, it looks like it actually is C. 43%.
Which, kind of brings up the question, what keeps you up at night to have such sleep disturbance? I suppose that's kind of an interesting statistic, really.
I guess it would be looking at reels, especially if they're especially if they're shows from uh, uh if they're shows that only show like 30-second clips and you're like, what happens next? What happens next? Where's the part two?
But I would imagine you watching reels as kind of a way to de-stress, right? Like you're trying to kind of, that's interesting. But I see what you mean. Because then, like, yeah, I
It
get
would be. It
yeah,
could be. Okay, all right. But thank you so much to our viewers and listeners who were participating with us in that, and we're learning some of those facts when it comes to stress. So thank you so much to those who are participating with us. So let's go ahead and resume our topic discussion. And oh wow, let's go ahead and see who else is tuning in with us. We have Nida Pablo tuning in from Humble, Texas. We have Rosal Gingham tuning in from Universal City, and she likes to distress by eating. Of course, we all love eating, especially if you're from a place like San Antonio. A lot of good places out there. And looks like we have Timothy Conroy tuning in from Killeen, Texas, and Ruben Pascal. I think he's tuning in from Humble, uh, Texas. Okay, and once again, for our viewers and listeners who don't yet know, please go ahead and answer our question of the day, our question of the night in our live YouTube chat, and we will once again look at them at some point during our show. So let's go ahead and open the discussion once again to our panelists who are here. So so our question of the night is: what are some of the things you do that you do that help you de-stress and refresh? So 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 what are the things that you do to de-stress and refresh? Let's go ahead and open the discussion once again.
I kind of like to, well, it's been in my routine, but it kind of helps when I go to the gym, take it out on the equipment. So, yeah, that's one of the ways I could do it. I don't know about anyone else out there.
I agree.
Exercise, yeah, sorry, because I was gonna say it releases endorphins, right? So that's a. I really need to go to the gym. Hey, Sister Angel, you were saying.
Yeah.
It's
So
2025. I'm sure all of us have to be locked in.
yeah, I like to go do Pilates. That's how I start my day. And it actually like kind of helps me because it's kind of like yoga. So it helps me clear my mind for the day. So I'm all set. And then towards the end of the day, after all my classes, I just like to lay in bed, light a candle, turn off all the lights, and just enjoy the ambiance.
Nice. So like having that kind of mood lighting helps to also kind of helps you decompress basically from the day. I like that. I'm gonna have to try that. Pilates in the morning and then lighting a candle and just being in the dark. I like that. That's cool. Again, I know it's February. I always say, like, New Year's resolution always starts in February, but I think we're creeping up to March now. So I'm going to say, I'm going to start my New Year's resolution in March.
How about you, Sister Abby? I know that you're still relatively young. You're still in high school, but are there some things that you do that regularly do that help you de-stress and refresh?
Oh, I wish I was as disciplined as Sister Rose and Sister Angel. um, yeah, I never go to the gym. um,
Yeah.
I think, oh, maybe one day. But some of the ways that I kind of de-stress, some might say, they're not as healthy. um, I like to sleep a lot. I also tend to play games a lot, you know. But it does help me de-stress, and it does get my mind off of, schoolwork and my responsibilities. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting us know about that, Sister Abby. And then, oh wow, I just saw a large a rush of comments in our live YouTube chat. Looks like, oh wow, Sister Angel, looks like we have someone else in our live YouTube chat who also does Pilates, and this is from Jane Kathleen uh, Gregorio, and she says, I also do Pilates lately, starting at 6 a.m. It helped me to release tension. So I think that's something quite a few of us will have to try out. And looks like we also have a user named Jin who also likes to sleep and have have a warm bath and good food. And she's tuning in from Austin, Texas, or right here in Austin. And then we have one of the resident ministers in our district, Ferdy Febre, who says newly graduates who are looking for a job and fitting in their new work environment are also stressful. That is very true, Brother Ferdy. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And we also have one of our ministerial workers tuning in from Humble, Texas. Okay, so now let's go ahead and resume our topic discussion. So, Sister Angel, you said that you're back here in Texas of wanting to finish up your studies. So, when it comes to uh, uh, so when it comes to doing your studies, or maybe I don't know if you have some sort of form of work, some part time job, I don't know, but are you the type person who likes to work better under stress or under pressure?
I definitely do think um I always work better under stress, especially being a chemistry major. It is very stressful, but it's also very fun and rewarding at the end of the day. But usually every week we have exams, but at the end of that, all I do is pray and then I'm able to just let everything go.
That's a great way to, to refresh. You forget like the power of prayer when you've had such a tough day or tough week, or just having I usually, it's interesting because I what I do start my day with is I have my morning devotional prayer, and you kind of like sit in, like kind of silence, and you reflect a little bit, and then you start, like that prayer. I think that also helps kind of like set your day in a way. Like, it's almost, you're kind of preempting before the stress begins. Like you're almost like, letting that, all your worries and cares go through prayer. And then like that, it just sets it up for that, for that day. That's at least how I feel. Like, and even if, and I try to do it, it's funny. This is what I do in the dark because it feels like, like a little bit more, very like kind of that, like intimately, like when you're really meditating and praying. I think that's definitely how I start my day. But I should probably add the gym to that as well afterwards and not go back to bed. But yeah, I mean, what other routines, I guess, for to help you also, like decompress or kind of like, refresh yourself, other than like kind of eating or sleeping? Is there any other, and exercising, is there anything else that helps you kind of get through stressful situations? Or
Well, thank you so much for elaborating on that, as Sister Jamie. Now I kind of want to open that question up to everyone else here. So, does anyone else here work better when it comes to stress and under pressure? Maybe you, Sister Rose.
I do actually, and I'm surprised Sister Angel says is she's the same way, because I know a lot of people that always found it weird or odd that I would say I'm the type of person that like to work under stress, but or under pressure, because it feels very rewarding when you go through like that, like kind of like one by one get things done across all, or get things done with the list of items you have to do. So like whenever, like at work, when I have multiple tasks, it's satisfying for me getting things done one at a time. So I don't know if like anyone else is kind of like feeling the same way. It makes me feel like kind of like excited to do things because, oh, I'm getting things done, kind of like that. Because I kind of, yeah, so I prefer having a lot of things needing to be done compared to like very little, if that makes sense, just because it feels a lot more productive and rewarding at the end.
do you feel that when you are under pressure, that you become a little bit more like laser focused on the task at hand? Because I mean, I can only imagine when you're having to do multiple, you're multitasking, and it's kind of like almost like you're sitting there and you're strategizing. Okay, what
Mhm.
about, what's first, next, and then last? And you, because you're probably up against a deadline. So that's kind of interesting how that challenge
Mhm.
helps you like de-stress in a sense, or like refresh yourself, because it's, I guess that it's that, like looking ahead and basically attaining that goal, which it's like, oh, I get it. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I support
Right.
multiple executives, and so I totally get that whole kind of troubleshooting and like multitasking and like strategizing how you're going to tackle it. That's awesome. I never
Right.
thought of it that way.
Yeah, and sometimes like, when you have so much things to do on the back of your head, you're like you don't have time for anything else. So I kind of get like hyper focused. So if anything, it's actually better for me to work under pressure. I think it's because on the back of my mind, no phones, no distractions, because it's just get things done and that's it. So
Well, that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting concept where, it's when you're idle, do you feel more stress? Like when you're feeling like, oh, I finished everything, I have nothing else to do. Is that kind of the feeling that you get? Like where, or are you more like worried that you forgot something to do because you're like, I'm idle, I'm not doing anything.
I think that's what it is. I feel like I can't sit still even more if I have not if I don't have anything to do as much. So like I'm sitting there and I know I don't there's no dead I have things to do, but it's not like a high pressure on it. It's more of like I'll keep pushing it back. So it'll end up to where like it might be forgotten, if that makes sense. So I don't know if like I know like when I was in school, the best work I've gotten out of myself is when I had short deadlines, and I know I would pull all nighters, but under high pressure. But
It
that
would
was when
create
I
that
like
sense of urgency.
yes, and it helps me. I don't know. Some people find that weird, but it helps me a lot.
Sister Angel, you're kind of like, smiling. I mean, are you identifying and relating to this concept?
She's starting to refresh just listening to this.
Yes, I try to get it done, but then things happen. So creating that sense of urgency really does help make me like get things done. Like, oh, I have to do it. I have no other choice.
I'm just curious from everyone here. Of course, all of us are either in school or working. So, does anyone here prefer to have that de-stress and refreshing moment just by yourselves, or do you like to have other people around you, like friends or maybe close family members?
I like to be
I
alone.
personally, yeah, me too. I personally like being alone because I think when I'm with other people, especially when I'm with my friends, like there have been so many instances where we schedule like a study session or like a tutoring group and we don't do anything other than like talk. Like instead of like like a study session, it becomes just a regular hangout. So yeah, I tend to get distracted very easily. So I think I do way better when I'm like focused and by myself in my own environment, locked in, as you said earlier, brother Justin.
Okay, for the last few shows, we've been having a certain a key phrase, highlighted phrase throughout our program. I guess that's going to be the one locked in for our show. We're locked in for 2025. After we refresh, we're locked in. Now, okay, before we wrap up our show, and yes, we're already at that time already. I kind of want to open one more question to everyone uh, here. So, for our viewers and listeners that are watching this, do you have any personal advice for them when it comes to de-stressing, depending on whatever it is they might be going through?
For me, it's more of like whenever it's that time where I feel stuck, I kind of like what Sister Angel does. I kind of just focus and I pray, and it helps a lot. And then also just think, once you get things done at the end of the day, it will be okay. So I just kind of think of like, look forward to the end of it, like getting things done, that you'll be productive. And basically, it kind of like it's over with, kind of like that. But because I know sometimes people tend to like get stuck on not starting whatever task they have because they get stuck on the feeling the pressure. But once you actually get on the task, little by little, you'll get things done and it'll be okay at the end. So
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sister Rose. And before we wrap up our show, let's go ahead and read some last few of our comments in our live YouTube chat. Looks like We have Mario Oka, who's tuning in from the local of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. And we also have Annalyn Viado, who says cooking and gardening and cooking to unwind. And she's tuning in from Sugarland, Texas. And we have Brother Armand David, one of our resident ministers, who says, getting in shape can relieve stress. I realize that round is a shape too. And he's tuning in from Humboldt, Texas. We have Miss Agani Castillo, who says sorting out my activities helps for me and planning how I would be able to accomplish things. Thank you so much, Isagani. And we have Lizette Manansala, who says tidying the home before going to sleep helps me de-stress and refresh. And lastly, we have one of our ministerial workers, Brother Kevin Marin, who says hearing a lesson that feels like it's catered for me in the worship service lifts mountains off my shoulders. Thank you so much, Brother Kevin, for sharing that with us. And again, thank you to all of our viewers and listeners who have tuned in with us here on INC Radio Texas Satellite Studio. And before we end our program, we'd like to thank our district CFO overseer, Brother Archie Talons, our assistant district minister, Brother Chody Sampson, our district supervising minister, Brother Noel Calitativo, our executive producer, Brother Emmanuel Andaya, our station manager, Brother Arnel Solano, our CFO coordinator and CEBSI CEO, Brother Angelo Arano V. Manalo, and of course, we can never forget to thank our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you so much for all your support in these programs, Po. And to all of our viewers and listeners, once again, thank you so much for tuning in with us here in INC Radio Texas. Please don't forget to tune into INC Radio Texas, which is every Friday at 9:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. And coming right after this, we have INC Radio Caribbean. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.